Hello, I'm Potter D42 here today with the things I got recently, episode 1. I call them things I got and not necessarily things I bought because not all of them are things I bought. Some of them are things I got, some of the things that were given to me, things that were bought for me, things that you can't really buy. Um, the first of those, as you have recently learned, I got a girlfriend, which is pretty awesome. Um, The second of those is this rock that looks like almost like the raptor claw from Jurassic Park, which is really awesome. Actually got it at a lake, found the rock, thought it was awesome, I'm going to keep it forever. Moving on from that, I have gotten oregano leaves, which is pretty awesome. Very, very good stuff. That's something, these are the rock, the leaves, and finally something else that I bought for myself, garlic powder. Very good stuff. Moving on to two things that my mother got me recently, were this TMNT scarf, which I absolutely love this scarf, and I'm going to wear it for the rest of the video. I love TMNT. If you don't know by now, I'm definitely a huge fan of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And she also got me these sweethearts, which I will eat some for you on camera. They are Dazzle Tarts. I love sweethearts. These aren't that bad. My mother does not have an account on YouTube, or I'd give her a shout out, but she doesn't have an account. However, the next person who got the next few things, excuse me, one more thing that I got from my mom actually. This DVD player, pre-reductor DVD. Everything's in here, but she got a new one, and she doesn't need this one because the one she had doesn't have a remote, so she gave this one to me, since the other one didn't have a remote. Anyway, I do have to give a shout out to the next guy, which is BYXman89, who did something absolutely amazing for me. But before I talk about the amazing thing he did for me, he also gave me this poker dealer set, which, you know, I don't play a lot of poker. I'll be honest, I really don't play a lot of poker, but there's all the poker stuff. I don't play a lot of poker, but I do some magic tricks, which some of this stuff you can use for magic tricks, so that should be cool. I do play poker on occasion, but I never do it for money. The next thing that I got is Pubo. BYXman bought me Pubo. There's 3 comics in the series. There's one, and then the other 2 are back here. There's the third one. But he got me the complete set of Pubo, and he got it from a comic book store in Boone, and it was amazingly funny, like super funny. I loved the series, put out by Dark Horse. I'm sorry, there. At any rate, thank you very much for that, BYXman. If you guys are not subscribed to him and you're subscribed to me, which I don't think there's any cases like that, but if there are, definitely go subscribe to him, BYXman89. Definitely an awesome guy. The last thing that I got, as some of you realized from my last video, I really love the work of this particular author. Whenever I saw this in a library, I had to pick it up. Stephen King's 4 Past Midnight, which, reading from it, tell you a little bit. I'll read the parts to show you'll see what it's about. After all, past midnight is Stephen King's favorite time of day. Excuse me, let me start over. Past midnight, something happens to time, that fragile concept we employ in order to order our sense of reality. It bends, stretches, turns back, or snaps. And sometimes reality snaps with it. And what happens to the wide-eyed observer when the window between reality and unreality shatters, and the glass begins to fly? These 4 chilling novellas a feast fit for King fans old and new, provide some shocking answers. After all, past midnight is Stephen King's favorite time of day. One past midnight, the Langoliers taste a red-eye flight from LA to Boston to a most unfriendly sky. Only 11 passengers survive, but landing in an eerily empty world makes them wish they hadn't. Something's waiting for them, you see. 2 past midnight. Secret window, secret garden. Enters the suddenly strange light of writer Mort Rainey, recently divorced, depressed, and alone on the shore of Tashmore Lake. Alone, that is, until a figure named John Shooter arrives, pointing an accusing finger. 3 past midnight. The library policeman is setting in Junction City, Iowa. an unlikely place for evil to be hiding. But for small businessman Sam Pebbles, who thinks he may be losing his mind, another enemy is hiding there as well, the truth. If he can find it in time, he might stand a chance. 4 past midnight. The flat surface of a Polaroid photograph becomes a 14-year-old Kevin Devlin, an inhibition to the supernatural. Old Pop Merrill, Castle Rock's sharpest trader, wants to crash the party for profit, but the Sundog, a creature that doesn't exist at all, is a very dangerous investment. With an introduction and prefatory notes to each of the tales, Stephen King discusses how these stories arose in what is the world's most fearsome imagination. But it is stories themselves that will keep readers awake long after bedtime into those dark, timeless hours past midnight. For those of you who don't know anything about Stephen King, let me read this part. Stephen King and his wife, the novelist Rebecca King, live in Bangor, Maine. His first novel, Carrie, was published in 1974, and the 1980s saw him become America's best-selling writer of fiction. He's glad to have held over the new decade. But Stephen King is definitely an absolutely phenomenal author, and I really love his work. As a warning, though, it's not really for children to read these kind of books because he does use some more adult. He does discuss adult themes in these books, which really, I mean, whenever I was a teenager, I was reading King, and as long as the teenagers are mature enough to handle that type of things, then fine, let them read it. But otherwise, don't recommend him for definitely not children's ears. But he really is a phenomenal author. Absolutely love his work. But at any rate, I will talk to you guys at a later time, and I do desperately hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you another day. Goodbye.